right, hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a very long time since I have done a video. Please excuse me, I am in the bathroom right now of the hotel we're currently staying in. Yeah, there's toilet paper and stuff, but I'm not using the bathroom, y'all. Like, yeah, see, the toilet seat's down. I'm not using the bathroom, just sitting on it. Any mom with kids, they know sometimes the bathroom is your sanity place, and right now it's mine. So please forgive me on that. But first of all, before I begin this video, I want to say thank you to a lot of people that have actually sent messages and stuff that saw my earlier videos about attempting to join the Army with a GED. My husband, for anybody that hasn't been watching our videos or whatever, my husband has been trying to join the Army or a military branch for basically with a GED is what he had been doing in my past videos that I had posted, and I was trying to do the process of it, but life got very difficult. A lot of really crazy things were going on with us. We were living in Winston-Salem, North Carolina when the process started, and then my husband got into a car accident and he lost his job because he couldn't get back and forth to work whenever our car had been in an accident. So yeah, he eventually got laid off. So we kind of came to some hardships and we moved back to our hometown, which is where we live at now. Let me see, I'm trying to think of where to even start and begin it. But anyway, thank you to the people that have been relentlessly messaging me. It's been a long time since I've sent a video. When I say a long time, a really long time. It's been, I think, about 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. But anyway, for the last few years, like I said, my husband, he had still been pursuing it. It was a very difficult process. Basically, this is a situation my husband had against him. He had a GED, and he had to drop out of school when he was younger, when he was 18, during his senior year and stuff. His mom got sick. She has mental issues, mental health issues, and he had to step into his mom's role and take care of his 3 younger siblings whenever she got sick, and she got sent away to a mental institution for a while. And so he had to drop out of school and work and take care of them while his mom was gone. But after we got married, his mom got better. He actually went back to school. He got his GED. The Army and the other branches for a while were kind of giving a very hard time when it came to GED. They wanted you to have a GED. They wanted you to have 15 credit hours and a really super high score on your ASVAB and stuff in order to join. And my husband, whenever he took the ASVAB, he would always be 1 point under what they needed, which was I mean, it's life, it happens, what can you say about it? I still lost my train of thought. Anyway, he would always be 1 point under, and they wanted to have 15 credits. So he had started going to college. We were in Winston-Salem, but then when he lost his job, we actually had to move, like I said, which he couldn't go to school there anymore because we had to move. It was a family emergency type of thing, we were moving. Like I said, we lost a job, we lost our house, so we just ended up moving back home for a while with my mother. And we've been here for about 3.5, 4 years now. I haven't made a video since we came back here, besides a little tribute video I think I put up about my uncle about a year ago when he died. But anyway, I'm just all over the place. Anyway, my husband had been still trying. Sorry, y'all, my best friend's texting me, so I'm gonna talk to her later. I hit you up later, Sharonda. Anyway, he had still been pursuing the military, and he'd actually gotten in with a Coast Guard recruiter that had been talking to him and had pushed everything through for him. And then it got down to they did his background check and his credit check. His background check, everything came back great. Credit, turns out that he had a medical bill on there. And they were like, yeah, you can pay this medical bill, blah, 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 before you can be able to join. So he was like super devastated because once again, we were like in the same boat where he's making like barely enough for us to make it. And now we gotta figure out how to pay like this $1,600 in medical bill for him to be able to join the Coast Guard. So he had gotten this like very random message a couple days ago, about a week ago, from a recruiter, and it's like, hey, it's a guy that he had talked to like years ago. It was like, not years ago, but maybe about a year ago, he had talked to this guy, and he's a Coast Guard recruiter. That his brother is actually a captain in the Army. My husband's brother, his older brother, is a captain in the Army right now. And my husband had talked to this recruiter in Greenville, North Carolina. We're from North Carolina, so hey, North Carolina people. Greenville is about maybe like an hour and like 15 minutes from where we're at right now. But he had talked to this recruiter in Greenville, and the recruiter asked him, like, I mean, it was very random because like my husband had not really been talking to any recruiters besides the Coast Guard recruiter, and out of nowhere he just gets this very random message from an Army recruiter. It's like, hey, Jacob, do you still want to join the Army? And my husband's like, you know, he thought it was kind of crazy. He kind of had started giving up or whatever, and he was like, yeah, if he just straight gets to the point now. He's like, yeah, if they'll take someone with a GED and a 45 on the ASVAB, then I'm ready to join. And he thought that would be like the last time he ever heard from the recruiter. So next thing you know, I don't know what's going on with my hair, y'all. Like, I had a headband in and I took it out, and my hair is just looking real crazy right now. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, the recruiter messages him back and is like, yeah, we are actually, where are you guys located at right now? So my husband tells him, you know, we're back in our hometown or whatever. And so the recruiter says, well, I'm going to have someone call you tomorrow. And if they don't call you, then call me and let me know they didn't call you. So my husband's like, oh, okay. So we thinking it's very, like, and there's been recruiters here or there, but a lot of them, I don't want to be rude about the situation, but like a lot of recruiters that were supposed to help my husband in the past have been kind of rude and a little bit on the lazy side. I hate to say that because it's like they didn't want to do like any sort of leg work when it came to the situation. When they found he had a GED, they would kind of brush him off. So he kind of gotten used to people doing that, and that's what he was expecting again. So anyway, when this recruiter's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna have someone call you tomorrow, and if they don't call you, let me know. So my husband's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I've heard it's like 1,200 times, but okay. So the next day, the person didn't call. My husband didn't say anything to the recruiter guy. And then the next day, the recruiter guy didn't call. And my husband, I was talking to him, was like, oh, honey, send him a message and tell him whoever it was didn't call him back. So my husband's like, yeah, but he sent the message. I would say about an hour later, his phone rings. It's an Army recruiter here where we live at, in the little town that we live in here in North Carolina. And he's like, hey, you know, tell me a little bit of your story. He says, you know, I see because like I said, my husband had tried to work with a recruiter here in Elizabeth City, but the guy was not really wanting to do anything in the city we live in. Like, I don't know, it's like every time we went in there, the guy was like sitting on his desk, like with his legs propped up and chewing on tobacco. Like, he wasn't really doing anything. He didn't really plan on doing anything. And the only thing he really talked about is he was leaving soon. That's the only thing you ever really heard from the guy. So my husband tells, you know, this recruiter that just randomly called him, he says, yeah, he said, you know, I was working with this recruiter after I got here. He, you know, didn't really seem very interested in helping me. You know, everything that that was getting done, that was put in my portfolio, was all stuff that I had put in my portfolio because he didn't really want to do anything. So my husband also had this thing on his record, not an adult record, and it wasn't anything that he was ever guilty of. It was a case that was found to be a lie and was dismissed. But anyway, when my husband's mom had went to the hospital, the mental hospital for a while, he was taking care of his siblings. One of his older siblings had came back home, and he bought a girlfriend with him. His girlfriend and him kind of wanted the mom's money that my husband was using to take care of the siblings with. So my husband told him, no, you can't have the money. So they got mad and came up with this plan. Excuse me, y'all. Came up with this plan. Well, we're gonna just call the police and tell them that he pushed my girlfriend and get it so that he can get arrested so we can get the money. So when they called the police officer and the sheriff, they came out, and the sheriff basically told them they had to leave because there was no evidence, and nothing added up with them saying my husband did anything. You know, my husband said he hadn't done anything. There was 3 other people there that said he hadn't done anything. So the sheriff basically told them they had to leave. And so they left. And my husband had a court case he had to go to. It was a summons from the girl who went and like put some summons in or whatever. Anyway, my husband showed up at court. The court case, the girl never came. She never would show up. She didn't plan on showing up anyway because she had no evidence that it was something that ever happened. And the sheriff was there and testified that it had never happened. Everything she was saying was not true that she had written in the statement. So the judge found him not guilty. He dismissed the case, threw it out. Anyway, that was something that was in his file, saying that like assault on a female, which it never was. And the recruiter guy that he was working with before, he didn't want to do anything. Like my husband went down to the courthouse, he got the paperwork, every piece of legal document there was, my husband went and got it, and like the recruiter guy didn't want to do it. But anyway, my husband told the new recruiter guy this whole story. So the new recruiter guy tells my husband to come into the office and see him. Of course, my husband is always thinking this is just like another little tail headache or whatever going on, of someone going, yeah, come to my office, and then when you get there, whatever, like they're just gonna disappoint you. But I kept telling him, I said, no, honey, said, you know, go ahead and go talk to him. You know, you never know. God works in mysterious ways, whatever, you know. So he went in. We talked to the recruiter guy. He was really cool. It was a African American guy. It was really weird because the old recruiter, the one that wasn't really doing anything, he was still there when we got there. And I got a cramp in my neck, y'all. He was still there. But it was weird. It was almost like, I don't know if he got like demoted or something, but I'm guessing like a lot of people were complaining about him before, and they had sent someone else in to basically like kind of clean up the messes or whatever this guy had, because he was like demoted and moved to this really small desk. He was no longer in the big office in the back, like dealing with in the day-to-day stuff. But anyway, when we got there, the new recruiter guy, he had us come to the back. He talked to us. He pulled my husband's file out, and he was looking at my husband's file, and he was reading through it, and he was very confused. And he was like, well, I'm really confused on a lot of stuff. And my husband said, what do you mean? He says, because the person that was working before, which is the one out there, and he pointed to the recruiter that was out there that had supposedly been working with my husband, but kind of more or less was blowing my husband off the whole time. He goes, he said you were disqualified. My husband goes, what? He goes, yeah. He says, you were disqualified. My husband's like, how? So then so that recruiter guy goes, well, tell you what, I need, he says, your ASVAB testing is perfect and your score is still valid, because my husband, I think, had taken his, it had only been like a year, and I think your test lasts for like 2 years. And he says, you have just been to MEPS and you're in amazing shape, You have a squeaky clean adult record. There's nothing on your record like you're one of the cleanest people I've ever seen before. I don't understand why your paperwork has not been pushed through and you've joined the Army a long time ago. My husband, he told him, he's honest. He's like, I've gotten the runaround a lot from people. Nobody's ever really wanted to take me serious. No one's ever wanted to listen. No one's ever wanted to, step out and help me a little bit. Help me get where I need to get to. So this recruiter guy, he tells him, he says, he says, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. He says, if you're honest with me, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you give me your best, I'm gonna give you my best. So my husband says, okay. He says, whatever it is you need from me, my husband says, whatever you need from me, I'm here and I'm going to do it because this is what I want. I'm sorry this video is long. I just want to get all the information in for anybody that may have been discouraged. I just want to get this in. So anyway, my husband, the guy talks to him. He's like, well, I'll tell you what, we need more, we need something more solid on the court case that you had that was dismissed. Because paper that we had gotten from the courthouse was only like a disposition paper where all it showed was that the case was dismissed and they had put it in a disposed file, and they had like basically whatever the file was had been thrown away, like the court had, because there was nothing there. They had like shredded and thrown whatever court paper was in there away, and they just stuck this little tiny sheet in there as a file holder or something for that record. I guess it only said it's been disposed of. It was not guilty verdict. I'm sorry, my phone's beeping, y'all. People are texting me. My husband's in Virginia Beach right now. So anyway, that wasn't enough. The recruiter guy, me and my husband went to my husband's hometown and got that paperwork, which is only about 15-20 minutes from where we're at now. We're in the town I wasn't born in, but I grew up in. My mom worked for the Coast Guard for like almost 30 years, so we've moved here and lived here. I met my husband, who is from a smaller town about 15-20 minutes from here. But anyway, we went to his hometown, we got the paperwork, we came back, and the recruiter was saying, well, I don't really understand what this is. Like, it had like a bunch of numbers and crap on it. So he was like, well, I need something else. This recruiter, this is how we knew this guy was like someone that was gonna be for us. He actually said, you know what, you guys sit here for a minute. He got on the phone, he called up some of his friends, like the other friends and people that do recruiting or and stuff, that he, I guess, gets advice from and stuff. And he was like, look, I have this guy here, this paper, this and that. I need to find out what I can do, what we can do to get all the information, because when I put everything in his file, when I sent it up for the approval, I guess I had to have like the approval thing, because it had been put in the file that he had assaulted a female by the other guy that just kind of blew him off and said he wasn't qualified, but basically he just didn't want to do the legwork and the paperwork. So the old recruiter just kind of blew him off and just put in his file that he was something he wasn't. And so the new recruiter was like, well, I need to find out how I can prove that this is what it is for this guy. So his friend tells him, his other, I guess, mentor or whoever he is, in my eyes, he's an angel. But he tells him, he says, well, look, he says, the DA in that county will have paperwork on it. So go find the DA there and talk to them. So me and my husband and the recruiter, we went downtown to the DA's office. And we actually, the recruiter guy actually went with us, which was a shocker. Like, that had never happened. Like, anything that had ever happened before, me and my husband had done the legwork on it. Like, I mean, y'all, this is how far we've gone. Like, I've even driven back to my hometown where I live to get my birth certificate, because our birth certificates was missing somewhere. I have no idea where they went to. Like I said, I'm not from where we live at now. I am originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, Raleigh. So I had to go all the way back to Raleigh. Raleigh's like a 3-4 hour drive from here. to get birth certificates and stuff. But the recruiter guy, he actually went downtown with us to the DA's office and told this DA person what they needed, what he needed from her, which was a handwritten and signed documentation stating that what had happened, that my husband was not guilty, that this case had no evidence, that it was dismissed, and that everything against my husband was dismissed, and it was a totally untrue statement that this young lady had written that put on my husband the case or whatever. This was before I ever knew my husband, so I didn't really know much about it. I know who the girl is. I know she's crazy, but I didn't know anything about the situation before then. But anyway, the DA wrote the letter. She went in her file, she looked it up, she read the disposition and everything that had gone on that she had in her case file, and she wrote the letter up, that my husband was not guilty of the situation, that he was innocent, that the case was dismissed, that none of it was a false accusation or whatever, and she gave him the paper, which is what the recruiter needed. Yes. We felt like amazed, like he was like an angel. Like he's still an angel, guys. Like he came and he worked with us and for us. Anyway, he got the paperwork. He got a statement from my husband, which coincided with what the DA person had written on the paper. Basically the same thing, that, it had never happened. It wasn't true, whatever. And he sent it up the ladder. As I guess the Army people call it, the ladder of command for their approval. And he tells my husband, I don't see why there's any reason that this won't be approved. He's like, I'm gonna get you in the Army, man. My husband, of course, was like super emotional because it's been like, I'm just gonna be honest, my husband hates when I say it, but 6 years that he's been trying to do this. 6 years, and I'm like super dry. Good Lord. 6 years that he's been trying to do this. Like, he's never given up. So I try to stick by him 100%. But he said, man, I got you. I'm gonna get you here. So we got a call from the recruiter the other day, and he tells us that his I guess the person I can't remember the person's name is. Please, Lord, y'all forgive me. I don't know if it's like a battalion leader or whoever it is that's above him, that's in charge of him, and I guess like the division here in North Carolina we're at, is gonna call my husband and do a phone interview, and basically just wants to hear my husband tell him what the DA has written on the paper and what my husband's already written in a statement. Well, written in a statement, handwritten, and then they want him to type up what happened. But yeah. So we're waiting for the phone call from, the higher up, the phone interview for them to talk to him about the situation of what happened. And after that, we're done. So according to the recruiter guy, paperwork, when it's sent up, he has my husband coming in and typing up the statement paper on what happened, because my husband handwritten it, but they want to type it and have my husband sign it to go like up the ladder or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, my husband is doing that on Monday, and this weekend sometime we're supposed to get a phone call from the guy that's gonna do the little, like, I guess, phone interview thing with my husband about the situation or whatever. I guess basically wanting to hear like sanity or whatever on the situation or whatever. But my husband gets a text message from the recruiter the other day, and he says, you're gonna be in the Army, man. That was kind of big for us. Anyone that has watched my other video knows that we have been working on this for a long time, and my husband wants it. He's never given up. That's one of his dreams, and I have stuck by him. We have been through some hardships, which I'll talk about in another video, from moving from place to place, and we've actually lived in different hotels. It's a lot, y'all. Like, it's a lot. I'm gonna come on more and start talking more. I don't know, it's been in my head to come back and start vlogging this issue more, because I've gotten messages and stuff from people that have wanted to know what has been going on with us, and it's just been so much going on, like not great stuff, you know, whatever. But we're still here, and this process is coming to an end, a positive, happy, and very soon. So we are waiting for his paperwork to come back from the higher ups with his approval. And once that's done, he's gonna do his swearing date, and then he's gonna be shipping out. I'm gonna miss my baby, but it's what he wants and it's what's best for us. Because honestly, right now we are currently living in a hotel. Yeah, life circumstances. See, you can see the hotel some, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video. It's like super long. It's like 25 minutes long, but I wanted to put everything in there to basically sum it up, you know, what's been going on with us. Because, like I said, I've gotten quite a bit of emails, messages from people, personal messages, um, people that were, you know, over the years that want to know what happened with us. And I know myself personally, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and I hate whenever I watch someone and I'm watching their videos and I'm like getting to know this person and stuff, and then boom, all of a sudden they just stop doing videos. I'm like, dude, what happened? Like, I thought we had a connection and then you just gone. Like, what's going on? But anyway, I'm gonna end this video. It's like 26 minutes long. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hoping that y'all can even hear me on this video because I got a new phone. So, I don't know. I'm still trying to work this thing out. But, yeah, I'm gonna end the video. You guys keep your fingers crossed. We are waiting for the week that's coming up. Waiting to hear from the higher up guy about the situation at hand, this interview, and my husband signed paper, and praying that my husband's I don't even know if you call it a waiver request or whatever you would call that thing, is sent back down, approved quickly, which the recruiter says he doesn't see why there would be any reason that his paperwork would not be sent back approved, because he's just not guilty. We just never knew that that's what we could do, would be go to the DA and get that done. But we feel pretty positive and pretty awesome about the situation at hand, and we're very excited for whatever's going to be coming next. All right, so I'm going to end this vlog.